The galaxy was silent for a moment before the horrors began. Billions of people across Earth and every surviving human colony were going through an ordinary day. Some were working. Some were studying. Some were laughing with their families. No one expected that a single broadcast would change the fate of an entire species. The broadcast started as a sudden interruption on every screen. Whether someone was watching news, movies, or checking simple messages, everything was replaced by a symbol that no human had ever seen before. It was a dark golden crest, shaped like a twisted star with claws. Behind it, a cold, metallic voice echoed across the universe. This message is from the Galactic Empire. Your species has been judged. Your resistance has become an infection. Today, judgment has been carried out. People across Earth felt a chill run through their bodies. The camera changed, showing a massive alien stage on a distant planet. Tens of thousands of alien soldiers stood in straight lines, armored and unmoving. In the center, an alien general, tall and thin, with glowing red eyes, faced the camera. 10 billion humans, he said, have been executed for their refusal to obey imperial command. Let this be an example to those who dare oppose us. Then the screen displayed rows and rows of human colonies, dark, lifeless, silent. The Empire did not show graphic images, but the message was clear. The lights of entire cities were gone. There were no sounds, no movement, no life. Across Earth, people froze. Some cried in fear. Some screamed. Some fell to their knees. 10 billion lives were gone. Families, friends, loved ones. Everything wiped out in an instant. All shown live to break the human spirit. But Earth did not break. In the United Human Council meeting room, world leaders watched the broadcast with pale faces. No one spoke at first. Everyone waited for someone else to say something, anything. The silence felt like it could suffocate the room. Finally, the council leader whispered, "This is a declaration of extermination. We cannot hide anymore." At the back of the room, a man stepped forward. He wore a dark uniform with silver lines, and his expression was calm but sharp. His name was Commander Aaron Hale, the head of a secret division known only by a few people on the planet. "Activate Operation Alien Extinct," he said. Every leader in the room turned toward him. They had heard of the operation, but most believed it was only a rumor. A classified plan made for a worst-case scenario. A scenario where aliens attempted to wipe out humanity. That worst case was now reality, Commander. Hale pressed a small device on his wrist, and the lights in the room dimmed. A projection appeared, showing a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked all Empire-controlled systems. Blue dots marked human colonies. The difference was overwhelming. Humans were a tiny presence in a massive universe. But then the map changed. Hidden blue signals appeared, dozens of them. Secret bases, secret outposts, secret fleets. For years, Earth had prepared quietly, carefully, secretly. They knew alien threats existed. They had analyzed every encounter. Humans had learned, adapted, and built technology far more advanced than what they publicly showed, all waiting for the moment they would need to defend themselves. "Earth is not weak," Commander Hale said, "and we will not die quietly. The Empire believes we will fall to fear, but humanity always rises when pushed to the edge. Operation Alien Extinct begins now." The council members looked at one another. Then, slowly, one by one, they nodded. Within minutes, secret bases around the solar system came alive. Enormous hangars opened, revealing fleets of AI-guided warships that looked nothing like the traditional human vessels shown to the public. These ships were sleek, dark, built with hybrid technology combining alien techniques and human innovation. Engines roared as they powered up, their lights glowing a bright electric blue. Pilots, engineers, scientists, and soldiers rushed into position. Humanity was preparing for a war unlike anything they had faced before. Meanwhile, on Earth itself, the news spread faster than any fire. The entire world learned of the massacre and the Empire's attempt to break them. But instead of collapsing, humans began to gather. People took to the streets, not in panic, but in unity. They held flags. They held signs. They held hands. For the first time in centuries, Earth was united in the main military command station. Dr. Naira Sol, Commander Hales, second in command, studied the data sent with the broadcast. She was calm, intelligent, and known for noticing details that others missed. "Commander," she said, "the Empire used a mind control signal on the colonies before the executions. They were afraid of human free will." Haley frowned. "Afraid?" "Yes," she said. "The Empire does not fear our ships or our weapons. They fear our minds. Humans resist. Humans question. Humans do not obey blindly. That is what makes us dangerous to them." Hall understood immediately. "Then we show them exactly why they should fear us." He ordered the first mission of Operation Alien Extinct, a stealth attack on a remote Empire outpost that controlled part of the Empire's communication network. If humans disabled it, the Empire's ability to coordinate attacks across sectors would be weakened. The ship selected for the mission was named Night Falcon. It was one of Earth's most advanced stealth vessels, capable of entering enemy territory without detection. The crew of the Night Falcon consisted of 20 skilled operatives, each trained in covert missions. As the ship prepared for launch, the crew stood in a silent line. Commander Hale addressed them through a holographic screen. "You are not only soldiers," he said. "You are the first spark of humanity's answer. 10 billion lives demand justice today. Your mission is not revenge. It is survival. It is the beginning of our pushback." The crew saluted. The ship's engines lit up. The Night Falcon slipped into the vast darkness of space. In less than an hour, the stealth ship reached the Empire's outpost. The station floated quietly above a barren moon. Empire soldiers guarded it, unaware of what was coming. The Night Falcon approached silently, its hull absorbing enemy radar signals. When close enough, the ship released small drones that cut through the outpost's power lines. The lights on the station flickered and died. Before the Empire soldiers could react, human operatives stormed the station. The fight was fast and efficient. The team used EMP weapons that disabled alien equipment without causing large casualties. Their goal was not destruction, it was disruption. Within minutes, the entire outpost was offline. Communications in the sector collapsed. Human fleets across the region sensed the shift. The first blow had been struck back on Earth. Sensors confirmed the mission's success. Dr. Naira Sol allowed herself a small smile. "This will shake them," she said. Commander Hale nodded. "The Empire will understand that they are not fighting a weak species." But he also knew this was only the beginning. The Empire's response would be swift and brutal. The next days would test the limits of what humanity could endure. He looked out a massive window at Earth below. The blue oceans, the white clouds, the millions of people standing together. 10 billion lost, he whispered. But humanity is not finished. Not today. Not ever. A message arrived from the Night Falcon as it returned home. Mission successful. No losses. For a moment, Earth felt hope. But at the same time, across the galaxy, the Galactic Empire watched the destruction of their outposts and realized something they had never considered before. Humans were not broken. They were rising, and the Empire had just awakened the one species, capable of overturning power with sheer will. The first chapter of the war had begun. The darkness of space stretched endlessly. As humanity prepared for the next stage of Operation Alien Extinct, the first mission had proven that humans could strike the Empire without being detected. But no one believed the Empire would ignore such a move. Everyone knew a storm was coming. The question was how strong it would be. Commander Aaron Hale stood inside the main command room aboard. Large screens displayed hundreds of moving symbols, human ships, supply carriers, drone fleets, and civilian evacuation routes. Activity levels reached new heights as Earth prepared for a long war. But Hale's expression remained calm. He had expected this moment for years. Dr. Naira Sol entered the room, holding a tablet filled with fresh intelligence. Her dark hair was tied back. Her eyes reflected a focus that only intensified under pressure. "Commander," she said, "we have confirmed the Empire is mobilizing. Their nearest battle groups are changing formation. They are searching for the ones who attacked their outpost." Hale nodded. "How long until they reach this region?" 3 days, she answered. "Maybe less if they activate their warp channels." 3 days. That was not a lot of time. Hale turned to one of the main screens and zoomed into a cluster of blue dots, hidden human bases scattered across nearby sectors. "We move to Phase 2, he said. "Prepare all fleets. We strike before they arrive." Dr. Sol raised an eyebrow. "A preemptive attack?" "Yes," Hale replied. "If we wait for them, we will lose colonies we cannot protect. We must take the fight deeper into their territory." Dr. Sol understood. "I will ready the data course." As she left the room, Hale's thoughts returned to the 10 billion human lives lost. Every step of his plan was guided by those memories. Humanity had been pushed to the edge, but that was where humans became strongest. On Earth, people continued to gather in unity. Families volunteered to help create shields, drones, ammunition, and communication. Equipment. Factories that once produced cars now built small tactical ships. Schools transformed into training centers. The entire planet was now one coordinated force. Meanwhile, the elite crews of the stealth ships were preparing for their next missions. Among them was the team from the Night Falcon. They had returned safely from the first strike, but there was no time for rest. Captain Mira Lane, leader of the Night Falcon crew, stood with her teammates inside the war room. She studied the mission briefing projected on the wall. "Our next target is an Empire relay station near the Syrian belt," she said. "This one is larger, heavily guarded. But if we take it out, the Empire will lose control over half of this sector." Her team exchanged determined looks. They knew the risks, but they also knew why they were fighting. "It won't be easy," Mira continued, "but Earth is counting on us." At the same time, far away in space, the Galactic Empire was already feeling the shock of humanity's resistance. Inside a massive Imperial command ship, General Rakar, the same alien who delivered the broadcast of the massacre, paced angrily. His red eyes glowed with frustration. "How did a primitive species disable our outpost?" he shouted. Empire officers remained silent. None dared to speak after witnessing the general's rage. Finally, one officer stepped forward and said, "Our sensors detected no active ships. They must have developed stealth technology equal to or better than ours." Racker slammed his hand against the metal table. "Impossible. Humans were weak. Their colonies surrendered easily. They should not have this level of advancement." Another officer swallowed nervously before speaking. "General, recordings from the colonies before the execution suggest humans offered strong resistance. Their leaders analyzed our tactics and learned quickly." "Perhaps, Wrecker, cut him off." "Enough. Send orders across the Empire. All human locations must be purged. Prepare a fleet of 1,000 ships. We end this before it grows." The officers bowed and rushed to carry out his orders. As the Empire prepared for total war, Earth's fleets began to depart. Great metal doors opened above the planet, revealing powerful ships that glowed with blue energy. Swarms of smaller fighters followed the larger vessels. The human fleet was not large compared to the Empire's, but it was strategic, fast, and used technologies. The Empire did not expect Commander Hale watched from the central viewing deck as the ships traveled through the darkness of space. "They go with hope," he said quietly. Dr. Sol joined him. "And with purpose," she replied. They stood in silence for a moment, watching humanity take its first major step toward retaliation. Hours later, the Night Falcon arrived near the Syrian Belt. The belt was a region filled with floating minerals, broken moons, and pieces of ancient asteroids. The Empire's relay station was built on a giant metallic rock, its design sleek and imposing. Captain Myra scanned the surroundings. This area is dense. Their sensors can't reach far in these rocks. Good for us. The ship drifted between floating stones, using them as cover. The team wore infiltration suits and prepared their equipment. Mira turned to her second-in-command. Jocks, we move in quickly. Disrupt their core. Get out before they call reinforcements. Jocks nodded. Understood. The Night Falcon released a set of silent drones that attached themselves to the station's surface. Sparks flashed as the drones cut through the metal walls. Inside, the Empire guards noticed the sudden power flicker. Check the generators. One shouted, but before anyone could react, Mira's team entered through the breach. Their EMP rifles fired rapid pulses that disabled weapons and machines. The team moved with precision, disabling security systems and locking down communication channels. The Empire guards tried to respond, but they were too slow. Humans were fast, unpredictable, creative qualities the Empire never expected. Within minutes, they reached the central relay core. A massive glowing pillar of energy pulsated, sending signals across the sector. Mira stepped forward and planted a disruption device. It was small but powerful, capable of shutting down the entire station. Device set, she said. Jax checked his scanner. Enemy reinforcements incoming. We need to move. Mira pressed the activation button, and the device lit up. The relay core began to crackle as its energy collapsed. Fall back, Mira ordered. The team sprinted back to the breach point as the station shook. Alarms blared. Empire soldiers tried to block their escape, but the team used smoke charges and interference drones to slip past. They boarded the Night Falcon just in time. Go, 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 Mira shouted. The pilot pushed the engines to maximum, launching the ship away from the station. Behind them, the relay core exploded into a burst of energy, spreading shockwaves across the belt. The station shut down completely. Back in Earth's command center, the screens lit up with new updates. Relay station offline, Dr. Soul reported. The Empire's communication network is collapsing in 3 nearby sectors. Commander Hale allowed himself a small breath. Good. Every victory gives us one more chance to survive. But something else caught Dr. Saul's attention. She noticed strange encrypted data that had transmitted from the destroyed station moments before the explosion. Commander, she said, the Empire is not just reacting. They are preparing something larger. Something hidden. Hale turned to her with a serious expression. Do you know what it is? Not yet, she said, but it is connected to their central command world. I need more time to decode it. Find out. Whatever they are planning, it could decide the entire war. Meanwhile, inside Empire territory, General Raykar received the report of the destroyed relay station. His rage echoed through the command hall. These humans dare to challenge us. He shouted. His officers remained silent. Racker leaned forward, his voice low and dangerous. If they want war, we will show them war. Prepare the purge fleets. But deep within his mind, even he felt a hint of fear, feeling he had never known. Humans were acting. Differently, they were not begging. They were not surrendering. They were fighting like a rising storm, and storms were hard to control across the galaxy. Messages from oppressed alien species began spreading quietly. They watched the human resistance with interest, hope, and surprise. Many had suffered under the Empire, but none had dared to strike back. Now, a small voice whispered through the systems, if humans can fight, maybe we can too. Back on Earth, Commander Hale gathered his council. Phase 2 is complete, he said. We have weakened their communication lines. But now, the Empire will come for us with full force. Oh. Dr. Soul finally cracked the encrypted data. Her face went pale. Commander, she whispered. The Empire's main fleet is preparing to deploy a weapon capable of destroying entire planets. The room froze. Hale looked at her slowly. Earth. Dr. Soul nodded. Yes. They plan to erase Earth completely. Silence filled the command center. Then Hale straightened his back, his eyes hard with determination. Then we move to Phase 3, he said. And this time, we take the fight to their capital. Humanity had no choice. The war for survival had truly begun. The human fleet moved through the darkness of space, like a silent storm. Every ship, every drone, every pilot knew the weight of the mission ahead. Earth had survived the first retaliation, but now the war was entering a new stage. The Empire was preparing a planet-killer weapon, and humanity had only one option: rise higher, faster, and stronger than anything the galaxy expected. Commander Aaron Hale stood at the center of the orbital command station, watching holographic maps as they shifted with new updates. Human fleets were spreading through nearby sectors, securing hidden paths and building temporary bases on abandoned moons. But something else was happening, something Hale had hoped for, but never expected so soon. Alien signals were appearing on their long-range scanners. Not Empire signals, but desperate messages from small civilizations spread across the stars. For decades, these species had lived under the Empire's shadow, obeying out of fear. Now they watched humans fight back. One message after another poured in. Some in broken languages, some in encrypted scripts. All carried the same meaning. We want to help. Dr. Naira Soul entered the room holding a device filled with decoded transmissions. Commander, she said, alien groups across 5 sectors are reaching out. They are frightened, but they are ready to stand against the Empire if we lead them. Hallie studied the messages silently. This was the opportunity humanity needed. A united front. Not just humans, multiple species with their own knowledge, ships, and skills. Prepare a council meeting, Hale said. We will form an alliance. Dr. Soul smiled slightly. A human alliance. The Empire will not expect this. Preparations began immediately. Diplomatic ships were sent to neutral worlds. Communication channels were opened. Human translators worked day and night decoding unfamiliar languages. The first to respond physically were the Kayron, a reptilian species known for their stealth ships. They had suffered under the Empire for generations, and their leader, Voritek, arrived in person. Voritek stepped out of his ship with slow, careful movements. His scaly skin reflected the station lights. His eyes narrowed as he studied the human officers. Commander Hale greeted him with a calm but firm nod. Welcome, Hale said. Voritek tilted his head. Humans fight with courage. Empire fears courage. We stand with you. Not long after, the gentle bird-like species called the Avari sent their ambassadors. Their winged forms moved gracefully as they entered the hall. We have seen your broadcasts, one Avari representative said. You defend your people. We wish to defend ours as well. Then came the small but highly intelligent Lemurians, whose glowing blue eyes darted around curiously. We have long studied the Empire, one of them said. Your unpredictable tactics interest us. We offer our knowledge. Within days, more small factions joined. None of them alone could challenge the Empire. But together, they were something new. Hal stood at the center of the gathered leaders today, he said. We form the Human Allied Resistance Network. HARN, a united force for freedom. The aliens nodded, each in their own way. For the first time in galactic history, multi-species rebellion was born. While alliances formed, Captain Mira Lane and the Night Falcon crew were preparing for another mission. Their success had made them symbols of hope, and their next target was even more critical. This time, Mira said to her team, we're not disabling a station. We're gathering proof. Jocks raised an eyebrow. Proof of what? Mira pulled up a hologram showing a large Empire facility. Proof of the planet killer weapon. Dr. Soul believes the Empire is hiding part of the weapon's construction here. If we bring back evidence, we can unite even more species against them. The team geared up, aware this mission might be harder than anything before. Stealth was important. But escape was even more vital. The Night Falcon traveled deep into Empire territory, using a hidden warp corridor discovered by the Charon. Once near the target planet, they cloaked the ship and drifted silently toward the surface. The Empire facility sat in the middle of a red desert. Tall metal towers, heavy guard patrols, and bright scanners circled the area. More security than before, Jox whispered. Mira nodded. Means we're close to something important, okay? The team moved across the sand using cloaked suits, blending with the environment. When they reached the outer wall, small drones cut through the metal, creating an opening. Inside, the halls were cold and metallic. Red lights glowed softly along the ceiling as the team advanced. They discovered a massive chamber filled with strange machinery. Gigantic energy modules floated above the floor, held in place by magnetic beams. "What is all this?" one operative asked quietly. Mira studied the nearest module. It hummed with a soft but powerful vibration. "This is not a weapon by itself," she said, "but it's part of something much larger." They moved deeper until they reached a locked vault. A tall alien scientist stood guard, tapping on a screen. "Capture quietly," Mira whispered. Two operatives grabbed the alien from behind and covered his mouth before he could speak. Within minutes, they accessed the vault. Inside was a massive blueprint, a hologram of a weapon shaped like a long spear with a glowing core. A single hit from this weapon could destroy a planet completely. Jox's eyes widened. This could wipe out entire star systems. Mira's voice was calm but heavy. "This is what they planned to use on Earth." They copied the blueprint data and prepared to leave. But an alarm suddenly blared across the facility. They detected the breach. Jox shouted. Empire soldiers rushed in from all directions. Mira's team fought defensively, using stun weapons and EMP grenades. They pushed toward the exit, but more soldiers arrived. "We're surrounded," one operative yelled. Mira scanned the area quickly. "Not yet. Follow me." She led them to a side tunnel that connected to a maintenance route. Empire drones flew behind them, firing energy pulses. The team dodged blasts and slid through the narrow passage until they reached the outer wall. Explosive charges tore open a path. Once outside, the Night Falcon swooped in, weapons firing at the drones. "Get on," the pilot shouted. The team jumped aboard as the ship rose into the sky. Empire fighters chased them. But the Night Falcon used a sharp turn and cloaking device to disappear into the upper atmosphere. When they reached safe space, Mira transmitted the data to Earth, back at the command center. Dr. Soul stared at the hologram in horror. "This is worse than we feared," she said. "The weapon is nearly complete." Commander Hale did not flinch. "Then we increase our pace," he said. "We cannot let them finish it." Soon after, the Alliance leaders gathered again. Hull showed them the blueprint. Gasps spread across the room. The Avari lowered their heads in sorrow. The Charon growled softly. The Lemurians trembled. "This weapon is enough to enslave the entire galaxy," Hale said. "If we do not stop the Empire, no species will survive." Voritek stepped forward. "Humans have courage," he said. "We give ships, warriors, and knowledge." The Avari joined him. "We offer healers and shield technology." The Lemurians stepped forward. "We will improve your AI and help coordinate fleets." Hala nodded. "Then let this be our next step. Together, we weaken the Empire's war machine." As the Alliance prepared for war, hope spread quietly across the galaxy. Small planets began resisting Empire control. Secret rebellions formed. Supply routes collapsed. The Empire noticed immediately. General Rakar watched as reports of uprisings reached his desk. "This cannot be," he growled. "Humans are infecting the galaxy with rebellion." One of his officers trembled as he spoke. "General, our forces are stretched thin. Multiple planets are refusing orders." Rakar slammed his fist. "Then kill them all. Crush every rebel world." But even as he issued orders, the cracks in the Empire were widening. Meanwhile on Earth, Commander Hale and Dr. Soul prepared the next phase of Operation Alien Extinct. They stood over a large holographic map of the Empire's capital system. "This is where we strike next," Hale said. "If we weaken their central control, we gain real power in this war." Dr. Soul nodded. "But it will be dangerous." Hale's expression hardened. "Everything is dangerous now. But we fight for survival." Earth's fleets and the new Allied forces positioned themselves for the next major assault. Galaxy was changing. Humans had once been victims. Now they were leaders, and the Empire was beginning to fear them. Fear was only the beginning. Humanity was rising like a fire no one could stop. The crew of the Earth flagship moved through the silent corridors with heavy steps. Everyone understood that the next days would decide the fate of their species. Many had already lost family in the attack that killed 10 billion humans. The pain inside them was a fire that never cooled, but they used that fire to stay strong. They knew they were fighting for the survival of their world, and they would not fail. General Rhea stood on the command deck and watched the holographic display of the galaxy. Bright blue rings showed Earth-controlled regions. Red rings showed the borders of the Galactic Empire. The red zones had grown for centuries, swallowing weaker species and forcing others into silence. Humans had been careful, trying not to gain attention, but now there was no hiding. The Empire had crossed the line. The universe would witness the consequences. Rhea turned as Commander Hale entered the deck. His face looked tired, but his eyes were focused. He walked toward her with a tablet in his hand. "Reports from the outer scouts," he said quietly. 2 Empire fleets moved closer to the Orion Gate. "They are not attacking yet, but they are watching. They are waiting for something. Maybe they think we will break." Rhea shook her head. "They misjudge us. They think fear will stop us. But fear has already turned into something stronger. Humans don't run from the dark. We go into it and light a fire." Hole nodded. "We are preparing for the next phase of the operation. The teams are ready. The scientists finished loading the pulse modules. We can deploy them as soon as you give the order." Rhea walked closer to the galaxy display and stared at the glowing dots that marked Empire worlds. She imagined the cities, the people, the soldiers, all believing they had the right to rule over others. The Empire had not only destroyed lives, they had tried to erase human dignity. That act sealed their fate. She finally spoke. "We will proceed with Operation Alien Extinct, Phase 3. Once the Empire realizes we can strike anywhere, they will panic. Their fear will break their unity. And once they break, we will win." Hal set the tablet down. "I will inform the fleet." As he left, Rhea stayed alone on the deck. The stars in the hologram twinkled softly, but she knew the real stars outside were cold and distant. Humans were tiny compared to the galaxy, but their will was not. Willpower was the oldest weapon of her species, and it had shaped their history again and again. Meanwhile, far from the Earth's fleet, 2 Empire commanders stood on their own bridge. Their ship was shaped like a needle, long and sharp, its hull covered with symbols of conquest. Commander Vorak looked over the data screens and frowned. "Human ships are moving again," he said, "but their formation is strange. They are spreading out instead of focusing on one location. It is as if they want us to see them." His second-in-command, Tarvix, tilted his head. His dark-scaled skin shimmered under the dim lights. "Humans act strangely. They did not kneel after the broadcast of death. They did not bow. Instead, they prepare for war. Their reaction is not normal." Vorak hissed softly. "Their species confuses me. They are weak, yet fearless. It is unnatural." Tarvix turned to him. "Maybe fear is not what drives them. Maybe something else lives in them." He paused. "Something dangerous." Back in the Earth flagship, Rhea gathered her officers around a long table. A hologram of a large space structure appeared above it. The image rotated slowly. "This is the Vargas Core Station," Rhea announced. "One of the Empire's main communication hubs. Without it, their fleets will struggle to coordinate. Our objective is simple. We destroy it." Hal stepped forward. "The Empire believes this station is impossible to penetrate. Their defenses are thick. Their sensors reach far, but their weakness is their overconfidence. They never considered that humans would dare to hit something so important. One of the tactical officers raised a hand. "How many ships will we send?" Rhea replied. "Only 3. The Empire expects a massive attack. We will send a small team to slip through their sensors using cloaking fields. Once inside, the pulse modules will detonate and shut the station down." Some officers exchanged nervous glances. It was a risky plan. Risk was something humans had always understood. The planning continued for hours. Maps were reviewed. Enemy patrols were predicted. Every possible scenario was tested. When everything was finalized, Rhea looked at her people. "This mission will change the direction of the war," she said. "If we succeed, Earth will show the Empire that we are not prey. We are hunters, and we do not forgive." The room fell silent. The weight of her words settled into every mind and every heart. Then slowly the officers nodded. They were ready. Later, the 3 selected ships drifted out of the flagship's launch bay. Their dark hulls shimmered with cloaking energy, bending light around them. Inside each ship, small teams sat strapped into their seats, silent and focused. Captain Myra led the first ship. She watched the stars through the glass and thought of her family. She remembered the message she received months earlier, telling her that her home city was gone. The pain of that moment had never left her, but she used it to strengthen her resolve. "We entered the Empire's outer border in 7 minutes, her pilot said. Mira nodded. "Stay low. Trust the cloak." The ships glided like shadows, slipping past patrols and sensors. The journey lasted hours, but finally they arrived. The Vargas Core station appeared in front of them. It looked like a giant metal flower, its petals stretching toward the stars. Light pulsed from its center. "Beginning infiltration?" Mira whispered. The 3 ships approached from different angles. Each moved slowly, giving no sound or signal. Empire guards continued their usual routines, never realizing the threat slipping past them. Once the ships reached the station's surface, magnetic clamps latched on. The teams moved out in silence. They cut through the metal and entered the interior. Inside, the corridors glowed faint blue. The air felt heavy. Voices of Empire workers echoed in the distance. Mira led her team deeper. "Pulse modules are ready," one soldier whispered. "Plant them," Mira replied. Minutes passed. The modules were set. Everything was going as planned. But then a sharp alarm echoed through the corridor. Myra froze. They detected us. Empire soldiers rushed toward their location. The humans raised their weapons. "Hold the line," Mira shouted. A fierce battle erupted inside the station. Laser fire lit the corridors, the air filled with smoke and sparks. Humans fought with precision and fury. The Empire troops fought aggressively. They were not prepared for the speed and determination of the intruders. Myra pushed forward, protecting the last soldier who activated the modules. "Detonation in 40 seconds, he yelled. "Fall back," Mira ordered. The teams ran through the corridors, with the Empire soldiers chasing behind. Alarms blared across the entire station. Mira reached her ship and dove inside. "Launch, now." The 3 ships separated from the station and sped into the darkness. Detonation in 3, 2, 1. A massive pulse of energy erupted from the Vargas core. Lights across the station flickered and died. The entire structure went dark. The Empire soldiers stared in shock as every screen, every weapon, and every system powered off. Mira watched from her ship as the once powerful station drifted silently. "Mission complete," she whispered. Hours later, news spread through the Empire. A major station had fallen to humans. Panic rose among their leaders. Fear echoed through their fleets. In the Earth flagship, Rhea smiled for the first time in days. "This is only the beginning," she said quietly. The Empire will learn what humans truly are, and the war entered a new stage, one that would decide the fate of the galaxy. Galaxy changed in the days that followed the fall of the Vargas core station. The Empire, once proud and confident, quietly tightened its borders. Fleets moved without coordination. Communication delays spread confusion through their ranks. Rumors grew like shadows, and fear began to whisper inside every Empire command room. But humans did not slow down. They understood that hesitation would give the Empire time to rebuild. So Earth moved with speed, strength, and unbroken determination. Operation Alien Extinct entered its final stage. General Rhea stood again on the command deck of the Earth's flagship. Around her, officers worked quietly, gathering data about the Empire's remaining strongholds. Rhea watched the galaxy display and saw hundreds of red markers flash. Each one represented an Empire fleet trying to reorganize. Commander Hale approached her. "The Empire Council is in chaos," he reported. They are blaming each other for failing to stop us. Some commanders want to surrender, others want to destroy every human, and some are fleeing. Their unity is collapsing. Rhea nodded. Good. That means they are weak now. This is our moment. Hale set a tablet on the table. Phase 5 is ready. But it is the most dangerous step. Once we start, there is no turning back. Rhea stared at the tablet. We are not turning back. Humanity did not start this war, but we will finish it. He gave a small nod. Then we prepare the fleet. Across the flagship, soldiers rushed to their stations. Engineers loaded the final wave of pulse warheads. Pilots sealed themselves in their cockpits. Medic teams stood ready for the wounded. After months of suffering, running and bleeding, humanity was now a force that the galaxy could not ignore. Far away, deep in the Empire capital world of Zelkar, the High Command gathered in an enormous hall. Hundreds of alien leaders argued loudly. The once mighty Empire no longer looked strong. It looked desperate. Commander Varrock slammed his fist against the metal table. This is unacceptable. How can a primitive species like humans defeat us again and again? They do not fear death. They do not break under pressure. They act like beasts, another leader growled. Their minds are unpredictable. Their emotions are chaotic. They fight even when they should surrender. It makes them impossible to control. Tarvik spoke quietly, but his voice carried across the hall. Humans are not like other prey we conquered. They do not submit. They evolve under pressure. They adapt faster than we do, and now they want revenge. The room fell silent. Vorak finally spoke. Then we must use the planet eraser. If they want to fight for Earth, then we will remove Earth. Without their home, they crumble. Tarvik shook his head slowly. No, you still do not understand them. Remove their home, and they will become even more dangerous. They are built from pain. Their strength rises when pushed. If you destroy Earth, you will create monsters you cannot defeat. Then what do you suggest? Someone asked. Tarvik looked around the room. Surrender. Shouts exploded instantly. Leaders screamed in anger. The idea was insulting, unthinkable. Surrender? To humans? Never. Vorak leaned forward. We will not bow to them. Prepare the planet eraser. Tarvik felt something cold inside his chest. He knew this decision would end them. Humans were coming, and no weapon would stop the storm approaching. Back at the Earth fleet, Rhea addressed her soldiers. Her voice traveled through every ship. Humans, she began, we stand at the final gate. The Empire believes we are weak. They believe fear controls us. They believe our hearts can break easily. But they have never understood us. They do not know that we grow through suffering. They do not know that when we lose everything, we rise with even more power. Today we end this war. It's not for revenge alone, but for every human who lost their life. Today we show the galaxy who we truly are. Every soldier stood straighter. Every pilot tightened their grip on their controls. Every heart burned with the memory of Earth's flames. The final attack began. Thousands of human ships launched from the Earth's fleet. Smaller attack vessels flew ahead, weaving through asteroid fields and dodging patrols. Heavy carriers moved slow but powerful behind them. Flagships stayed at the center, guiding the formation. As they reached the Empire's capital system, alarms lit up across every Empire station. Human fleet detected. They are coming straight for the capital planet. All units prepare for battle, but their preparation was too slow. Human ships split into strike teams. They attacked fuel stations, communication towers, and defense cannons. Explosions lit the sky above the Empire world. Empire soldiers rushed to respond, but their commands arrived late due to the destroyed core station. Their confusion grew. Meanwhile, the planet eraser weapon activated on the surface. Energy built inside the massive machine. The sky glowed with red lightning. Vorak stood near the controls, charged to full power. When the humans reach orbit, fire. Earth will be dust. Tarvix watched through the glass window. He saw the human fleet approaching like a wave of fire. He felt something of strange sadness. "You have chosen death," he whispered. On the flagship, alarms beeped. "General, the Empire is powering a super weapon," Hal shouted. Ria's eyes hardened. "Then we strike the weapon first. All ships, target the power pillar of that machine. Bring it down before it fires." Human ships dove toward the planet. Empire cannons fired from the surface. Blue beams sliced through space. Several human vessels were hit, bursting into flames. But the others pressed on. Captain Mira led the first attack squad. "Focus on the pillar. Do not stop." Her team fired wave after wave of missiles. Explosions tore through the lower structure of the planet eraser. Vorak roared, "Increase shield power. Humans cannot be allowed to damage it." But it was too late. Human gunships launched a final, coordinated strike. 10 missiles hit the same point at once. The pillar cracked. Light burst out. The entire super weapon trembled. Tarvik stepped back as warning lights flashed. "It is unstable," he said. "If the core breaks," his sentence never finished. A massive eruption tore through the planet eraser. Fire shot skyward. Shockwaves blew across the capital city. Empire structures collapsed under the blast. Vorak was thrown across the floor, crashing into a wall. Tarvik stood over him. "The humans have already defeated us. You refuse to see the truth." Above the planet, Ria watched the explosion. The human fleet paused for a moment, stunned. Then Ria gave her final order. "All ships target the Empire Command Center. End this." The final battle was fast and decisive. Human ships rained fire upon the capital world. Empire defenses collapsed. Their command center crumbled into ashes. Inside the ruins, Tarvik stepped forward with his hands raised. "I surrender," he whispered. "The Empire surrenders to humans." When Ria received the message, she felt the weight of centuries lift off humanity's shoulders. The war was over. Earth had won. The galaxy watched in silence as humans lowered their weapons. They did not continue destroying. They did not chase the defeated. They simply stood tall, proving that strength was not only in power, but in choice. Ria looked at the stars and whispered, 10 billion human souls, rest now. Justice is done." With Operation Alien Extinct completed, humanity began to rise as a new power, one that the galaxy would respect and never again underestimate.